Okay, let's get started here with Chapter 1, looking at sampling and data. Like I said, I'm going to keep these videos pretty short, just kind of cover what I think is most important, try and break it up as much as I can. So to start, we're just going to look at definitions, probability, and key terms. So starting with statistics, there's multiple types of statistics. You can be descriptive, or you can be inferential, where you're trying to draw conclusions. So think of descriptive as images, right? You're trying to describe what the data looks like. This could be drawing out bar graphs, histograms, frequency tables, looking at the averages, but you aren't saying what that actually means about the data. In inferential statistics, it's kind of going a step farther and saying, what does this data mean? What do we learn after seeing it? And we'll just think of data as information, so could be pretty wide in its interpretation. Next thing we want to look at is the difference between the population and the sample. This image actually will help a little bit. So it's kind of a subset of the population. So it could be, as like the word would describe, just picking people from it, or it could be a full subset of the population. Best way to think of this is, think of trying to guess information. If your population is the U.S., you want to know things about the entire U.S. population, but we live in Hawaii, we're on an island, it might be hard to get information, so we're going to look at the subset, the sample, which is Hawaii. And we're going to kind of take guesses about what we think the population looks like based on what we know about Hawaii. That would be taking a sample and trying to draw inference from it. Now here we have a sample that's a full subset, so it would be all the people in Hawaii. So that's kind of a unique sample, and we'll get into that a little bit more as we go on too. The other piece that we're looking at is the difference between statistics and parameters. So statistics are going to describe the sample. So that would be if we wanted to estimate the height of people in the US and we looked at Hawaii, a statistic is going to tell you about the height of the people in Hawaii. A parameter is going to tell you the true population parameter. So it's going to tell you the height for the US. And as you can see, we usually try to estimate the parameters from the statistics. We're going to use the height in Hawaii to guess the height in the US. We call these variables. They're the character that are of interest, and they can be numerical or categorical. And think of the variables as kind of the header to an Excel sheet, right? It would be height. And then the data that goes in it is the actual different heights of your samples. So, of all the people, it would kind of be a cell in Excel, where variable is the top, where you have height as the top and all the different heights that are measured in the cells, filling in the cells. And lastly, just talk about probability. Unfortunately, most classes that I've seen, probability ends up being a little bit separate. They're going to teach you probability and not talk about why it's important with the rest of statistics. What I really want to emphasize is that probability is essential for drawing inference. We're going to ask, what is the probability that the height in in Hawaii is accurate in representing the height in the US. That's where we get the probability piece, and it's key to inference.